Hey, we're here with Chris Logan, head women's soccer coach of the UND Fighting Hawks. How's it going, Chris?
It's going very well. Thanks. Glad to be on the show. It's nice to see your pretty face after so long. It's been a while.
You and I, at some point, we're going to have to connect on that battle, the little X Golf battle, or what's the Top Golf, right?
I think that might have to happen. Yeah, to be who embarrasses themselves the least, most likely. So should be a good time though.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Is I'm definitely going to embarrass myself, but that's okay. So, for those that don't know out here, you are a scum Liverpool fan, right? Is that right, Liverpool?
The team that's currently chasing all four trophies that they were entered into for this year. Yep, already won a trophy the other week. Got three more still competing for. That team that was world champions in the last couple of years as well. Yeah, that team right there. That's
I
who I
like it. I
support.
like it. I'm a Spurs fan for those that don't know, so yeah, I'm gonna take the beating tonight. But so I have a question I wanted to ask a Liverpool fan. Winning the Champions League and then winning the Premier League, which
Premier
one
League,
felt better?
Premier League,
So explain that to
hands
like
down.
an American, because an American would see you play the Premier League and then you go to the Champions League as playoffs, and then you're the champion of basically the world. But why is the Premier League like Mecca, the biggest deal for in winning in soccer, football?
So I think that for Liverpool fans, it was because way back in the 80s, almost prior to my time supporting Liverpool, Liverpool used to win that trophy a lot. And then it was there was a 30-year gap when Liverpool never won that trophy. So the desperation to win the Premier League trophy just built and built, especially as Man United, who are our main rivals, overtook us with the most championships for the EPL. So I would say for a lot of clubs like in Manchester City, the Champions League is the big deal. That's what they want to win. But for Liverpool and Liverpool fans, we were starved of that one trophy that we were craving for so long. It just became such a huge deal when we won it. So I think it's really for Liverpool fans, that's the trophy that's been our holy grail for so long. But for a lot of other teams, like a Man City, who've won the EPL but have never won the Champions League is more lucrative to them right now. So it's just really down to the club and what kind of quenches their thirst in terms of what they're looking for and regarding what trophy they want to win. So that's why, as a Liverpool fan, after I'd been of that 30 years, I'd been a Liverpool fan for 28 years. I'd seen us win the Champions League a couple of times. I'd seen us win all these other trophies, but I'd never seen us win the Premier League. So when COVID happened and everything got shut down, there was all these concerns that they were just going to cancel the league. And Liverpool literally needed one more point to win the league. And there's the part of you, obviously, there's a pandemic going on, and there's a lot of safety concerns. But then there's the little selfish side of you. It's like, man, it's only one more point. Like, come on, are we going to get the league done? And luckily, they managed to find safe ways to start the league back up, and we were eventually champions. So thankfully, I've got to see in my lifetime Liverpool win an EPL championship.
Well, that's good. Well, we'll switch some gears to college soccer. You're at UND, women's coach. With the way that soccer here in the U.S. has changed landscaping, specifically with recruiting, you see numbers in youth become more and more, so that you have a lot more options. Identify the type of girls that you're looking for your team. I mean, it's tough. You're looking for a certain position, but what's the makeup for a soccer player that you want to recruit at UND?
Sure, and I think that there's certain behavioral traits, so to speak, cognitive traits that we look at. There's certain physical traits, and then there's certain technical traits. So I would certainly say, from the behavioral cognitive standpoint, for me, somebody who looks like they have passion for the game, that loves playing the game of soccer, and the way that their body language is, and the way that they compete during a game, and their desire and their drive to compete. I think that those things, tenacity, and I never say die attitude, that you can, those things are very palpable for a college coach to see from the sideline. I think that somebody who's a true competitor and has that drive is certainly something that we look for. I think from a physicality standpoint, somebody who most certainly has the the speed, the power, the strength, and the endurance to play at the Division One level, because it is very physical, it is very fast. And Jason knows that from his days, coaching. Mine up, the NCAA soccer is it's very physical, it's very tough, it's very strong. So you've certainly got to have that, not just competitive edge, but that physicality in your game and the ability to keep up the speed of the game. Then I'd say from a technical standpoint, just what qualities could you bring to a Division One soccer program? Is it you're a really good dribbler on the ball? Are you really good at finishing in front of the net? If you're a defender, are you really good at 1v1 defending, winning head balls? If you're a goalkeeper, are you a really good shot stopper? Are you good at dealing with high balls? So what special attributes within your position would you be able to bring to the level? So I think that those are the three things. Is you always look at the behavioral aspect, you always look at the physicality aspect, and then you look at the technical aspects as well.
Well, good. And then now to kind of follow up on that, especially here in the state of North Dakota, we're coached lots of sports here, especially soccer, and I'm a hockey coach. And be honest too, like where's the level of high school soccer in terms of talent? Because now you think about UND, NDSU, Minot State, and maybe Mary as the NCAA schools, but is there a certain number? Is a talent pool not big enough yet, or needs to be bigger? I mean, what are the options in terms of high school recruiting? Is there a number of girls that are worthy of being recruited at UND or whatnot, or do youth programs have to do a better job of bringing up those kids to the next level?
Sure. I think that one of the things is just from a population standpoint, there's not as many people playing soccer as maybe if you go out to Southern California. There's just not as many people playing. And I think some of the opportunities are limited a little bit more, especially with the weather. You're not able to be outside playing soccer as much year round. So I think that does certainly hinder some development. I will say though, going to the high school state tournament this past summer, there were definitely some good players there that we kind of, especially some younger players that we started to put on our radar, which was really awesome to see that there was definitely some talent in the state that were like, oh, we need to maybe keep an eye on that person and check in on their development in future years as they grow older. And, something I'm super excited about, because we can definitely talk about this person, is, we have, from the Bismarck area, we have somebody coming in this fall. Her name's Reese Voracek, and she's a really talented player from in-state that we're super pumped to have playing at the Division One level, and we have some hopes that Reese's going to come in and do some great things. So there definitely is, some talent in the state that is on our radar, and there has been, even within the 2022 recruiting classes. I say we got Reese, there was a couple of other people that were kind of on our radar, but sometimes through timing and just what you need in your program, maybe positionally it just isn't necessarily what you need. But there's definitely there was definitely some people who were turning some heads at the state high school tournament last summer.
So I'd like your thoughts on the transfer portal, and that's obviously a hot topic right now. And one thing I noticed, and I was a Division I coach like you. You can't put a player in that's going to hurt you. So like your subs have to be fairly big time. Would you agree with that? So I thought it was just interesting as we would lead up. In the Horizon League, which is a one-bid league, so you're non-conference. You're trying to develop everyone as much as you can, and you get in the league, and then you got to start winning games. I found it interesting that freshmen were frustrated that their minutes would shrink in the league, and how does that, when you're thinking about developing players and keeping players, and you got transfer portal, and you got freshmen that are going to be really good a year from now when they get a year of strength coaching and whatnot. But you want to keep them in your program. How do you balance it? And what are your thoughts on the transfer portal?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's been very interesting with how it in some ways, and definitely in sports other than soccer, it seems like a free for all where people can go into a program for 1 year and really excel and decide to move on to a higher level. Or, if it's a younger player who isn't necessarily getting the time that they expected, and all of a sudden they feel as though they need to go somewhere else to pursue some playing time instead of seeing if they can actually be developed maybe in the spring after the fall season. So, it's been an interesting one for us to navigate. We haven't delved too much into the portal ourselves for a couple of reasons. One, we've been very fortunate that pretty much our whole team has all decided to stay after each year. Really, the only people that have looked to go into the portal have been people that have been wanting to spend their COVID year playing somewhere else after they've graduated. So we've been pretty fortunate with a retention standpoint. And because we've been good with our retention and our recruiting has generally been pretty good, we haven't really had to dive into the transfer portal too much to bring people in. So we're probably a little bit less experienced of that. And I think there's some positives in terms it means that our girls seem happy and optimistic about the future. And also it just means that maybe our recruitment of freshmen has gone fairly well. So we're probably a little bit less involved with the transfer portal than a lot of other people are, and I think for good reasons. And we've been very fortunate this past year where we had 11 freshmen come in, and they were an extremely, extremely talented team. They're young, they're freshmen, playing against a lot of teams that have COVID seniors who are 22, 23 years old, who know how to get it done. And we've got a bunch of 18-year-olds running around after them. But, we felt as though they were a very strong group that would, once they get that experience and in the spring we begin to develop them, they've got a very bright future. So we've had a little bit of a different experience with our younger players in terms of playing time, experience in big games recently, which I think has helped us kind of retain them and not lose them to the portal.
So you had like an 8 or 9 game win jump in your first year at UND. And you've basically maintained that to a winning record, double-digit victories while you're there. How did you immediately make that big jump? And were you coaching the previous coach's kids, or were you? I mean, did you have a complete makeover that first season? And and how did you maintain it as you turned over the roster?
When I first came in, I think we just changed some of the things, maybe from a stylistic standpoint that made sense for how I would like to play, move some people into some positions that I thought would make sense for my structure. And really, the thing that I was fortunate with is I arrived in the spring, and we do all of our developing in the spring season. So I had a whole spring to work with the group on things that I wanted to change and move into the direction I saw how I wanted our team to play. So I was very fortunate that I inherited a group at the time that had enough time to develop them and get them ready for the fall. And then by my second year, I managed to inject a young group that had a lot more athleticism, but I had a big group of seniors who also had been through 2 springs with me as well as a fall that understood our principles of play. So it was kind of nice that we had some energy, but we had some experience as well. And that kind of helped with some consistency of attaining better results. And, we kind of rode that wave for a couple of years, especially as by my third year, we had a decent amount of upperclassmen that kind of had the experience of winning and kind of just knew how to grind out results.
Well, good. I got just one interesting question. Of course, you can hear his very thick accent. I don't know if you've had a chance to go back home with COVID and whatnot, but what's the biggest thing you miss about back in England? Is there something missing, food or, certain places you'd go? Or is there a big thing that you miss that you've had a transition here in the U.S.?
A doner kebab?
I mean, definitely the doner kebabs, fish and chip shops for sure. Got to miss that stuff.
Absolutely.
I really miss the potato chips over there.
Oh, okay.
They're fantastic. I can't explain it. The tomato ketchup flavored potato chips, fantastic.
Oh,
can't beat them.
Last one. Tell the world here, the world that all that revolves around Spanner and Riggs, that is, but tell us the coolest thing, maybe tradition or just maybe one instance, that like a piece of you that that's off the soccer field, but like in your program? Maybe a lip sync battle on the bus or something with your girls. Something. Just tell us something about you that maybe no one knows that they want to hear about.
Something about me that nobody knows. I mean, it's definitely not going to be anything interesting, but something I did let slip to the girls because we had to reveal something about ourselves. And I said, back in Scotland, where I'm originally from, I actually do own some land over there, so I'm a lord. And when I told my team that the day after I came in, and there was a picture of me, and underneath it said Lord Logan. So sometimes when they're feeling feisty, they call me Lord Logan. So anytime I'm ever called a Lord, because I'm not called anything like that at home. I actually have a little piece of land that entitles me to become to be called a Lord of some land in Scotland.
Oh, right on.
That is pretty cool, man. I didn't know that either, so that's interesting. Let's hook up one of these days. Just text me and we'll have that Top Golf battle, and maybe you can come back on, and the winner can give the other person some trash talk or something to the whole world.
Absolutely.
I got my clubs in the other room. I'm getting down to the simulator tomorrow. I'm going to get practicing here.
I don't have a simulator, but I don't think enough practice would help me. So on one of my TikToks last night, I did my swing with one of the girls, and she's just kind of looking.
We'll do one better. We'll fly there and go play at Royal St. Andrews. I'll do that. All right. That big link style course. There we go.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks, guys.